Good morning, this is Dr. Turner for Fundamental Mathematics. Today we're going to be covering 5.5, which is looking at word problems, specifically word problems involving integers. Some of these are going to rely on positive and negative numbers. I'm going to throw you a couple bones on some easy ones, reviewing what we talked about using the number line, addition and subtraction of integers. And then the later questions will get a little bit more complicated as we get into order of operation word problems, but hopefully it's not too bad. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first kind of questions you might be asked on a word problem are just simple addition and subtraction, but they are introducing or involving this concept of negative value. Typically, if we're looking at a word problem that's adding or subtracting positive and negative numbers, the most common application is going to be money. So you might have something, and I'll make this bigger here in a second, but John has $20 in his bank account and owes his friend $15. How much money, or how much net money does he have? Okay. So anytime we're dealing with money and we talk about someone owing or a debt or a balance that has to be paid off, anything like that, that is meant to be like a negative number. So this, and of course there's money involved here. There's $20, that's positive. And then he has a $15 that is owed. So even though technically he has $20 in the account, he owes someone $15. So to find out how much net money he has, we're combining 20 and 15. Now, we mentioned this before, that when we do addition and subtraction of positive and negative numbers, when we have a plus minus in that order, or a minus plus, then that's the same as subtraction. Or you can combine the positive and negative number using any of the strategies we've covered in Unit 5. But 20 plus a negative 15, subtract 20 minus 15, and because the 20 is the larger number, then it stays positive. So net, he has $5. Okay. It doesn't have to be involving positive and negative numbers, but because that's the title of the section, usually it's going to. So Sarah owes $35 to Robert, $15 to Susan, and $20.50 to Michael. If she has $60 in her bank account, how much net money does she have? So again, this is addition and subtraction of positive and negative numbers. So I have $35 owed, that's negative, plus $15 owed, it's negative, plus $20.50 owed, that's negative. And then she has $60 in the account, that's money she has, so that's positive. So using order of operations, we'd be kind of going from left to right. You can take as many steps as you need. So you might just start out by combining two at a time. So negative 35 plus negative 15, they're both negative, so you add and keep the sign. And then I have negative 50 plus negative $20.50. They're both negative, so add them, keep the sign. And then last, you have negative and a positive. So using any of the strategies we talked about, what I would do is subtract. So 70/50 minus 60. And because the 70/50 is the larger number, I'll keep that sign. So her net is negative $10.50. Okay. So hopefully those are pretty straightforward. Like I said, some of them can get a little more complicated as we get into order of operations. So for instance, Adam has $450. He spends $210 on food. Later, he divides the money into 4 parts, out of which 3 parts were distributed, and 1 part he keeps for himself. Then he found $50 on the road. Write the expression and find the money he has left. Okay. So we've got a few things going on here. We're going to start with $450, which is what he has. From here, it says he spends $210, which would be subtraction because he's spending. And you don't need to write the $sign every time. Later, he divides the money into 4 parts, out of which 3 parts are distributed and 1 part he keeps for himself. So it says after, and that's a key word here, because we're going to have to do this by order of operations. So I want to subtract this first. Now, if I want to put subtraction or addition ahead of multiplication or ahead of division, then I need that in parentheses. So saying, okay, let's do this first. He spent the money, and then he ended up dividing it into 4 parts. So you could write this as dividing by 4, or you could write it as multiplying by 1/4. Both of those will give you the same answer. Okay. Then after that, he finds $50 on the road. Now, in a multiple choice test, it might ask you for the expression. It might ask you for the answer, or both. It depends. Sometimes if it's an application problem, you get credit for the answer and you get credit for the setup. So order of operations, parentheses first, 450 minus 210 gives me $340. I'm going to multiply that by 1/4. So 340 times 1/4, or 340 divided by 4 would give me the same answer, but that ends up being 85. And then last, 85 plus 50 gives me $135. If this was for your response, of course, anytime you have a word problem, your expectation is that you are writing out the problem in a sentence, or writing out your answer rather in a sentence. But because these are going to be multiple choice for you, you can omit that. Okay. Let's do one more. So number 4 over here. Andy has $1,500 he invested in stock. In one day, his money was doubled. The next day, he got a profit of $165 and later a loss of $238. Write the expression for this and find how much money he has left. So first part is to write the expression and then to solve it. So he has $1,500 invested, so we'll start with $1,500. Then he's going to double his money, so that's times 2. He got a profit of $165, so plus $165. And then a loss of $238, which is minus $238. So no parentheses, no exponents. So here we're just going left to right. 1,500 times 2 would give me 3,000. 3,000 plus 165 is going to give me 3,165. And then minus 238, that's going to be 2,927. And this is dollars. That's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Otherwise, have a good day, and I will talk to you soon.